Hello, everyone. Hello, ESA. My name is Sin. I'm back again. I did a run a couple hours ago, but we're back again for another run. So we're going to be playing Ratchet Clank into the Nexus. I've been a runner of this game for a long time, since 2018, and this is the primary series that I run. As you know, Nexus has definitely barely been shown at ESA before, so we're glad we got to see it.
Whoa!
But yeah, this run is really sick, and this is my commentator.
Yes, it's Kerry. I'm another Ratchet runner. You might also know me as Kragg WhatsApp, and I'm one of the other Ratchet runners. I don't particularly run this game, but I'm here to do the commentary.
Yeah, we'll try and help him as much as he can. But so I guess we can just get into the run. So the run actually starts after we click X on a challenge mode prompt. So I'll just go through here, and then I can do the countdown for us.
I believe Kronk and Zephyr are still on the bridge. 10 bolts.
Okay, so time will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. So, immediately we see something crazy going on. We see like a clip literally in the first room of the game. And what Sin is using right now is the Nebulox. It's the main weapon we're going to be using in this game, and it allows us to do both clips and also some movement tag that we'll see in a bit later. So right now is skipping the tutorial, which is pretty big, I would say, by just stepping out of bounds. He just got a checkpoint inside this door, and he's gonna do another clip here. What he's doing right now, we're gonna show that off better later. That's called a nightmare launch. Right now he's gonna go for a strat here. He's gonna go out of bounds on this part of the ship. And how this first level works, so you're pretty much on this ship. There's like a ship that's transporting the villains of the game. And normally you have to go through a tutorial and then play like the actual level. Here, Sin is just avoiding the entire tutorial and just like trying to go directly to the main part of the level, which requires some really precise platforming here out of bounds.
Yeah, this whole section is pretty much just completely out of bounds. We're just skipping the entire first part of the ship.
Yeah, and there is another strat you could have gone for here, but it's not really marathon.
Yeah, there is a strat where you can kind of like hyper strike through the floor to get up somewhere, but if you fall, you kind of soft lock.
Yeah.
So yeah, this first section you can completely soft lock if you fall through the map. So thankfully we got through that. Yeah, so this level is actually broken up into 3 different sections. So that was the first section where we pretty much just skipped everything. And in the second section, the villains like actually escaped, and now we have to get all the way to the front of the ship.
Yeah.
And there's of course going to be a skip where we can just kind of travel all the way to the front of the ship.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, we'll just be walking along the entirety of the ship. Okay, so here you just got another checkpoint.
Yeah, so we do have to go into that room there to kind of get like a checkpoint. And then the end of this area is just kind of going to be there. So thankfully, there's a lot of conveniently placed ledges here.
Very conveniently placed. That just
and they're perfectly spaced out for Ratchet to do a long jump off of, which is really awesome. Yeah, so I guess about this category, so this is New Game Plus, and if you've ever seen like a Ratchet running before, pretty much we have every single weapon in the game. We don't actually have all the gadgets like some Ratchet games, but we do have all the weapons, and they're all at max level. So we're pretty much going to be sweeping through all of the enemies very, very quickly. So the fights really aren't going to be the highlight of this run.
Yeah.
It's more going to be the crazy out-of-bounds tricks, and trust me, there's going to be a lot of out-of-bounds in this run. And so that was the second section. So then this level only has one more section, and it's a really cool, like I guess, magnet rail section. And this section always looks really cool if you kind of like do this quickly. So.
They are gone, Ratchet. We are not safe out here.
okay. Yeah. So these are how. So this is how the magnet boots work in this game. Every Ratchet game has them. Here you can pretty much just jump to any surface. I think it's similar with Rift Apart. You can kind of do it quickly here. You can skip some parts. If done really fast, this section is actually really cool. It can look like really cool. Here, Sin is gonna go as fast as possible. And there's just like a cutscene that's going to play at the end when he reaches the last one. And that's going to be it for the first level.
Nice. That was really good. Yeah, so this is actually the end of the very first level. So during this sort of downtime, we want to set up our quick select. So the main weapons we're going to be using during the run is we're going to be using the Rhino, and then we're going to be using the Nightmare Box, which Scary mentioned earlier, for a couple tricks. And then we also have on the Warmonger, which is a very familiar Ratchet weapon, just a rocket launcher. And then we also have the Gravity Grenade, which is a weapon that I believe is only in this game. And it pretty much just sucks up enemies when you throw it. And it's actually really good for one specific level.
Yeah, here we're already on Yerek, second level.
Yeah, so this level actually has a very interesting trick at the very beginning.
Yeah.
We need to jump on this small branch that is really annoying.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe? No. Yeah, so there's the hitbox on this branch is pretty small. And this always is pretty much the run killer for most runs. There we go.
okay. So what we're doing here is we're skipping one of the gadgets that you normally get on this planet, one of the few gadgets in this game. You're usually supposed to get that and then come back to that section to use it and get here, but Sin just did that jump and it just skipped that, and now it's gonna do a really fast nightmare launch.
Oh, I went backwards.
The prize appears to be a Grummelet jetpack. That could prove quite useful.
Okay.
Let's check out that orphanage first.
These can be really precise. Okay.
There we go.
So how that works is that you can see Sin placing down the Nightmare Box. The moment the puppet pops out, he tries to like go backwards, right? And that will push him forward, because of course it does.
Yeah, they are really tricky to do. But yeah, you're pretty much just kind of backflipping into the box as it explodes. So there's a lot of timing that has to go into that. So yeah, they're really tricky to get.
So are there major skip for this level? Just going out of bounds.
Yeah, you can just walk through that wall.
Yeah. And here's gonna try to land on a rock.
Yeah, so yep, so there's a trigger right there, and there's a rock right behind here that is going to end up loading in. So we want to jump on top of it before it actually loads in.
And that's the end of the level.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's like, this casual is normally like around 30 minutes, I would say, like 20.
Yeah, this is actually
A really long
surprisingly long level. There's like a Clank section, and then you have to get the tether, which is a device we don't even get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe there's a whole cave section too. We pretty much just skip everything.
Okay, so now we're going on Planet Kragg. This is the arena planet of this game. Every Ratchet game has one. And we're here to actually get one of the gadgets that we're going to need for Silox, the next level, which is the jetpack.
Yeah, so we have to get the jetpack. So the weapon that we have here, I guess this Void Grenade, this weapon is really fast in killing all the enemies.
Yeah, completely broken.
Yeah, pretty much, it's just like a black hole. So it'll just suck up all the enemies from all these, and see we'll complete this very quickly. So I guess during this arena section, we're just pretty much just going to be killing the enemies. So if there are any donations, this would be a pretty good time.
We absolutely do. We do have one $25 donation from Average Greg. This was for the last OOT run. Inverted Cam is dumb, and Nally is dumb for doing it. Smiley face. We also have a $25 donation from Mutant Aura with no message, but that was contributed to the Swedish driving target for Need for Speed Carbon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so these first two missions, we're pretty much just spamming the Void Grenades. And then the third one is a special mission where you have to fight like a bunch of bugs, and then the last one is the boss.
Yeah, and the boss is the one actually giving us the reward.
And don't worry, even this planet isn't void of a skip, because on the boss of this level there is, I guess, a slight little, skip you can do, or I guess optimization.
Trick. I don't know what you call it, but yes, there is.
So this arena challenge is very quick compared to the other one. So this one will be done in a second, and then we'll be on to the pest, I guess like the bug arena challenge.
Okay, third challenge.
Yeah, so this one we literally just used the bomb glove
Yeah.
for this.
Just kill the bugs.
Yeah, surprisingly faster than using the other weapons. So I guess the bomb glove got to shine a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next is the boss. So when this fight actually starts, I'm going to be holding R1, which is like the fire button. And so I'm holding the Rhino, so I'm actually hitting the boss right now, even though you can't see it. So you're going to see the health.
Look like it.
Yeah, so the health is just going to jump to like halfway.
Oh, a bit of luck.
Yeah, this game's frame rate is kind of crazy.
Nah.
It's a 30 FPS game in quotes.
Most normal Ratchet game.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're actually going to get the jetpack from this. So now we're done with this planet. So we're just going to load the game, and it's going to put us back at the ship. Pretty much at the end of each of these levels, we're kind of loading the game. And you can actually move during these black screens as well. So you can see we have the ship menu up already. So you can enter the ship sort of while you're waiting for the game to load. So.
Yeah. And Silox is the next planet, and it's probably the longest one in the game, by far, I would say as well. So in this planet, the reason why we need the jetpack is that there's a section we have to just play with the jetpack, which is not possible to skip at the moment, sadly.
Yeah, if we could skip it though, then we probably wouldn't have to go to Kragg. So
Yeah,
that would save a lot of time.
Would save definitely a lot. So here we're gonna see like a bunch of out-of-bound jumps. I know there's a couple of nightmare launches here. I don't know if Sin is gonna go for any of that.
Yeah, there is actually 2 on this level, but they're very, very risky. There's one right there, and then there's another one a little bit later. The unfortunate thing about this section specifically is that since we're just kind of moving out of bounds, there's no checkpoints really in any of this. So if you do end up dying, you get sent back to the ship pretty much, and then you have to go through all of that again.
Okay. And here it's trying to load for the level by in one of the triggers here. Okay. Also, yeah, those purple discs you see on the wall, those are like the gadget we skip.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so that skip we just did right there is the relay station skip. And typically, you want to grab a checkpoint that is behind, or I guess near the relay station. And it's sort of just like a marathon safe strat to make sure, because if you die during that skip, you just get set back 2 minutes pretty much. But we didn't get it. We just decided to go for it. And thankfully we got it.
So this section we kind of have to play pretty much casually, but thankfully we have a lot of good weapons, so it's not going to be as slow.
Yeah, so really what we have to do now is we just have to get up to where the boss is at. So the boss is Neftin, who is one of the, I guess, the henchmen of the main villain. So this is right here why we needed the jetpack. So if we didn't have the jetpack here, so the game actually does let you do Silox first. But if you don't have the jetpack, you can't really go anywhere from here.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the jetpack, and then we're going to clip through a couple walls, and that is going to bring us right to the boss of this level. For some reason, the jetpack is like invisible during this, but Clank will spawn in a sec.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, this is also another level where you have to do like a huge sewer section, and it's just super long, but we're just going to skip straight to the end. So yeah, if we double jump there, we can actually jetpack up higher than what we're normally able to do. And then we're going to clip through these 2 invisible walls, and then we're going to be right close to where the boss is at.
Okay. There's the elevator. Okay. So we have our second boss, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
there
he's
you go.
dead.
Yeah.
Very, very hard fight. That's probably the hardest fight in the
Yeah.
run. Yeah, so he's kind of a pushover. Don't worry, we're going to see him on like the next planet too, where he like actually wants to help us for some reason. Oh yeah, so there's like a big bug monster guy, dimensional bug monster guy.
Dimensional purple bug, yeah.
And that was kind of what the evil villain's plan was this whole time, was to release that. I think they're like Netherites. Is that they wanted to release them because they're like part of their family or something.
Yeah, it's called Mr. Eye. It's like
Yeah.
the head of the Nether. Which are like these purple creatures from another dimension.
Yeah, and then they eventually realized it was a bad idea, so then we have to
Yeah.
like and then we have to save the universe, like, you know, most Ratchet games. Yeah, so the end of the level is actually just right up here. The Warmonger in this game actually has like tracking to enemies, and then includes like around corners, so you can see that one just curved around. So that helps killing the enemies back there quickly, and then we can just kind of take out these guys. And then that's the end of this level.
So we have just a couple of levels left.
Yeah, so
Here
this
from
so Thram is actually the I guess the collectathon type level. So it's these like Gargathon crystals, I think. They look like crystals.
yeah, they're horns.
Yeah, the horns.
Yeah, there's giant like dinosaurs, type creatures, I guess dragons. You wanna kill them? Here Sin just did a skip. He killed the Gargathon while like the cutscene was about to load. Here just okay, I'll let you explain this.
Yeah, but it should actually give me the horns. So see, I got the horns from that.
Yeah, I got the horns. And you also got the hover boots, I think, right?
Yeah, so we're actually getting the hover boots right after we turn in the horns. But there's going to be a pretty interesting skip that we are going to do to skip a cutscene. Oh, that was close.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
close.
so you can actually make that full Nightmare launch, but most of the time you're probably not going to make it. But thankfully there's a little backup here where you can just climb up the rocks. Also, don't worry about the audio here. So this game actually has 2 sections where for some reason the audio kind of like bugs out for a sec. So it'll come back right after we die here. So, so don't worry about that. So now we're going to turn in the horns to the smuggler, who is conveniently everywhere. And we're going to be turning them in twice. So the cutscene will play twice there, and the game will think that we watched the cutscene pretty much. Also, yeah, woo-wee for the smuggler.
And
yeah, so this is the last level.
last level.
We're already there already. Yeah, so Igliak is like full of out of bounds and clips. There is actually an insta clip that you can do on like the very start here.
There's Tal. Come on.
We'll try to do it
Yeah.
for the fans, I guess. If you don't get it, then we'll just do the normal clip. Oh, I didn't get it. Okay.
Unfortunate. Okay, we got it. So this level is divided into 2 parts, I guess. This museum part, and then like an actual like open area of the level. We're gonna have to fight some Neras. And then the final boss actually after that. So this museum part is like what we play the most.
Yeah, tons of out of bounds here.
Yeah.
We're pretty much skipping the entire museum. There's also a boss. I forget. It's like a orb thing.
Oh yeah, it's the Bio-Obliterator from movie.
Yeah. I don't know why I forget that boss exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a boss.
Shoutouts to Ouya.
Yeah, so we have to reload there, and we actually need this Torbot friend. He's just going to be traveling around with us. Also, we're in the dancing room, the dancing robot room.
Yeah, there's no audio though, sadly. Or respect. Oh, that's very quiet. No, never mind. Okay.
So we are actually going to do a small skip right here.
Oh,
There we go.
insane.
Yeah, once you land on that slope, you can start a charge right there.
So,
Also, the audio will cut out here as well, so don't worry about this.
Yeah.
So we're going to clip through the elevator here. And that just speeds up, because that elevator takes a bit. And I've been throwing a Void Grenade there as well. Typically, you would just use the Rhino there and just kind of spam all the enemies. But I throw a Void Grenade, and then you just kill the rest of those enemies. So we are in like the final stretch right before the final boss. And what we're going to do here is we're actually going to switch the difficulty to Hero, and then we're going to charge forward while the game is loading, and we're actually going to skip a cutscene. So there's actually 2 cutscenes that are supposed to play here, and this is the second one. So normally there's supposed to be one that plays before this, but thankfully we can just bypass that.
We need to destroy the warp points to stop those nethers from
Yeah. So this whole section we skip pretty much with a simple trick.
Yep. So let's go up those boxes, and then we're going to glide straight into like the final section.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to kill like 5 nether brutes, and they're just kind of scattered everywhere. Like some of them are up on like higher platforms, and some of them are like on the
Yeah,
the
pretty
ground
big area as well.
Yeah, but thankfully
We can do this.
Yeah, thankfully the devs just have in like a small spot right there in the ground. And that's like, I'm thinking probably the only spot you can do that, and you can just slide through there. Then we're gonna skip a cutscene right here.
Yeah, so this is the final boss. So this fight is pretty much just hurting him with the Rhino and then playing like a small section as Clank.
Yeah.
Play 2 of those.
Yeah, and this is actually the first time we're gonna be seeing like Clank sections in this
Yeah.
game. There's actually a lot in this game. I think there's like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, that's a
and
lot.
Yeah, we only see 2, and they're both on this section. And they're really cool. They're actually like kind of side-scroller sections, where Clank is kind of like in the nether. And don't worry, these sections have skips as well. So we're actually going to push ourselves through this wall with this box.
Yeah. So in this section, you can pretty much control gravity by like flicking the stick in 4 directions, and they're really cool, really creative. Like you can do like some crazy skips with these abilities. As you can see right now.
So we're actually going to hit this guy from out of bounds, and then we're going to go back to where Vendra is at.
Yeah.
And then we'll be at the, I guess, the second part of the fight. I guess while this cutscene is going, if there are any donations, we can definitely get some in, because the run will be over in a minute.
Absolutely. We have a $10 donation from Aquas with the message, "You have received a galactic holobite from Walter Kukowski. Good luck on the run. # Year of Ratchet."
Yeah, thanks, Aquas.
Thank you, thank you.
I do also want to remind people that we do have some incentives going on right now, and please do remember to put your donations towards those incentives. So, for example, for a run later on tonight, we've got Spyro Year of the Dragon, body slam the loser through a table. Yes, a table. So if you want to see that, please put it in towards that incentive. Thank you.
Okay. Really cool trick coming up in this Clank section. So he's gonna try to get clipped outside with this laser.
There you go. Nice.
That is way harder.
It's a bit harder than it seems.
Yeah, than it seems.
That's also why we play on hero mode as well for this section. So that's why we weren't playing on easy, because that little scrolling object, that is not there if you're on cadet. Yeah, so time is actually coming up. So time is going to be when the health bar of the boss disappears. So I'll make sure to call that out. And time.
Looks like we got a 21.
We got a 21. Nice. That was pretty good. Yeah, so that was Into the Nexus. The speedrun is super sick. I think at least out of the Future series, this one and definitely Tools of Destruction are like easily probably the coolest.
Shout out to Todd.
So if you want to run this game, or if you're interested in this game, the Ratchet speedrunning server is definitely the best place to go to. Any of the games you're interested in running, the OG4, Future Series, spin-offs, whatever, including Secret Agent Clank. If you want to run any of those games, just go to their page on speedrun.com and then go to the server. Everyone in the server is really nice, really always willing to help. Shout out to the Ratchet crowd in the back. Shout out to everyone that speedruns Ratchet. These guys are awesome. Is that all my shout outs? I think so.
I guess so.
Do you have any shout outs?
I don't know. Shout outs to, the Rock Discord, not much. Shout outs to Yugi, actually.
Yeah, shout outs to
Yugi.
Yeah, shout outs to 24/7 Yu-Gi-Oh! I know he was labbing out like a lot of the Nightmare boxes, because I know that they weren't used that much. Just because they were kind of like finicky or slightly like inconsistent, but I know that Yugi's been hard at work running a lot of the Future games and routing in a lot of like the Nightmare boxes and everything. So yeah, shout out to Yugi.
Yeah. I think that's it from us.
I think that's it.
We'll probably never see us again.
You're definitely not going to see us in the next run.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, thanks everyone, and thanks CSA.
Goodbye.